Welcome back to The Grind. In this video, we are going to talk about the upcoming Kingdom Wars PvP event, and it looks like this is the new revamped version of Kingdom Wars that nearly broke War Dragons last time it came around. They had taken it out of the rotation for a little while, but it looks like it's coming back full force. They have said that they've worked out some of the kinks that were a problem with it last release, and they did make some adjustments to make it a little bit more enjoyable and less tedious. And we're going to take a look at some of those things that already are appearing in game. I'm actually a little bit optimistic. I'm always optimistic, but at least this isn't horrible or as horrible as it seemed last time they tried to release it. So the basic foundation of this event is the same, where you have to expand and control more land. But as they had released last time, there are some adjustments to how you control land and how you earn it. Now, in order to gain control of a territory, you have to control the majority of the cities. Now, what that means when you go into attack, there are all these different cities here, 16 cities, which are all controlled by the Black Bloods. So in order to control this territory, you have to control a majority, which I believe means 9 cities. Not just 8, not just half, but the majority would be 9 cities that you would have to control. So in order to do that, in order to control a single city, each city has 800 HP. And when you click on the members list, you can see all the different members within that team. So for the Black Bloods, it's these random bases that are set up. And once a team controls it, it will be the PvP members. So it will be like PvP. So once a team controls a city, you'll have to beat the members to get your points. So it'll basically allow you to attack whatever difficulty of base you want for whatever level of points you want. So presumably this top player will be max points, and all of the team can attack that player for maxed points in order to reduce the HP of that city. So you no longer will have to fight your teammates for points and eventually suffer having to get bad points in order to control a territory. You don't have that issue anymore, which is great. That was a very, very important thing that I think that they were right about changing, because otherwise it's just a horrible, flawed event. So I'm happy with that change. Now you can ensure that you never have to get less than max points if you're able to do that. Now the problem is if a different team controls that territory, or that city, I should say, you would go into their team as the members list, and you would have to be able to defeat their top player team on the team to get max points still. But at least you no longer have to fight for the best points. And we still get to keep a component of PvP, which was kind of disappointing about the iteration last time they tried to release it. So once you go through, and I'll show you another members list, you can see it's the same distribution, different bases, but different level of bases. So each city will have a variation of bases that you can attack, variable difficulties, and variable points. So these will not be limited in the amount of times they can be attacked, except for if the city becomes under your control. So every single player can attack the strongest base until that city is controlled. So once you control 9 of those cities, that territory will become yours, and you will now control that portion of or that territory. And then the same thing, you expand outwards. Now, I believe the HP on the base will still decay over time, and I believe they're still planning on implementing the Dragon Defenders. So for more details on the Dragon Defenders and how that works, go check out the video in the description below that has the Dragon Defenders. And the part that talks about that, I believe, will still be the same. The only difference is what I kind of just discussed will be the main difference that I'm so far aware of. I also still believe that the HP of your base will decay with time, as long as it's not fully surrounded by other territories. So this territory right next to the capital will decay over time once you obtain it until the following territories all around it are obtained by the team. And I discussed that in the other video as well. Now, I don't know with absolute certainty that the Dragon Defenders is a part of this iteration, but they did not mention that it would be not included this time. So the Dragon Defenders, as this is a picture from their prior blog post the last time, and this is what the screen would look like. You can select between your dragons, and you would give bonus HP to each city after you conquer it. Once you conquer a city, you get a 15-minute immunity period so that players have time to place their defenders. And as you can see for this dragon, based on the tier and level, you get a certain amount of HP added. So the higher the tier, the more HP that will be added to that city, and the higher the level, the more HP will be added to that city. So it benefits you for having higher tier dragons as well as having them leveled up to higher levels. And every player can add one dragon to each city. So that means if you control all the cities in a territory, you can add a single dragon to each of those cities within the territory. And each player can add a dragon to each city. So it's not limited to just one dragon defender. It's as many players as you have on your team, which most, hopefully, teams in the competitive leagues will have 50 players. So that means 50 dragons per city. Now, once you place a dragon, you cannot remove it. So you want to save your higher tier, stronger dragons for the territories that are going to be bordering another team. So don't place them all on the territories immediately surrounding your capital, because most likely the enemy's not going to get there very soon. So you're going to have high HP boosted by your dragon defenders on a territory that nobody's going to end up attacking. So save it until you push out as far as you can. Once you control a city that is in a territory that directly borders an enemy, that's when you probably want to start placing your defenders so that they can't as easily take over that territory. The other thing to consider is that the base decay, I still think, is a thing. So once you control a city, then over time it slowly will decay. And so the more dragon defenders you have, the longer it'll take for it to decay, because it's not a percentage, it's a number. So let's, for example, say it decays 5 HP every hour. If you add a dragon that gives 100 bonus HP, that's going to significantly increase the total amount of time that you have before it gets down to, say, 1 HP. You will not lose control from the decay, but it will get so low that the enemy only needs to do one attack in order to take control of that territory. And I don't really love that change, but I think that is what is going to be going on with this release, unfortunately. One of the other very positive things that they did change was last time they had said players who have a base boost will significantly increase I think it was the HP of your bases of the territories you control or something like that. But now the base boost has no effect. So those who were unable to get it will not be significantly at a disadvantage, which is a nice addition as well. So I'm looking forward to see how this actually turns out. I'll make an updated video if there are some major differences, but I definitely do recommend going to the video in the description below, because I do go through a little bit more detail on some of these other things, as well as some strategy. So check it out, see if it helps you, and hopefully this was helpful for you to prepare a little bit for the next, for tomorrow, because the event officially will start tomorrow. So good luck with that, and let me know how it goes for you, and hopefully I'll have a video with any updates depending on how it turns out. So I'll see you in the next video.